Hi there, I'm David Lee Summers, and I am the publisher and editorial director of Hadrosaur Productions. And two of the books I've been very honored to publish are Armageddon Sun by Greg Ballan and the sequel Battle Lines. Greg Ballan is a graduate of Northeastern University, holding bachelor's degrees in marketing and management. He enjoys several outdoor activities such as hiking, archery, and shooting. Greg was an avid MMA fighter, but realized after 50, getting punched hurts a lot. He discovered the safer hobby, which is learning the acoustic guitar. When he's not working his full-time job as a financial analyst or exploring some unknown woodlands, he's crunched over his laptop, putting his warped imagination into words, or penning a column about the outdoors or his latest misadventure avoiding house and yard work. And man, I can tell you about that after the rain we've had this spring. So Greg is the author of Hybrid, the Ethereal War books, which are Armageddon Sun and Battle Lines. And I just thought we would start off with, tell us about the Ethereal War books and where they fit into all of your writing at this point. I know you have other hybrid novels that you've written, and tell us where these fit and how the idea for these particular books came along.
First of all, thank you so much. It's great to talk to you. And thanks for letting me talk about my books and talk about me. Boy, the Ethereal War duology was kind of a way to wrap up the character's journey. After I had finished Force Vengeance, the second in the hybrid series, I really didn't know where to take the character. It's like I had amped him up so much, and it had the ending of the second book was so big. Where do I go?
And we should probably say that the character here is Erik Knight.
Erik Knight, yes, the detective. And one of my biggest fans and collaborators is my son Thomas. And if not for my son, I would not be a writer at all. He encouraged me to start the journey, and he is my biggest critic. He's like, Dad, this really is terrible, you need to rework this. Or if it's good, Dad, this is really good, you're on the right track. So we were going back and forth, and I'd always been fascinated by the whole war of good and evil. And yes, it goes back to Star Trek, believe it or not, the original series. There was that one episode where those stone creatures made Sarek and Abe Lincoln, and they had the good guys versus the bad guys. And they wanted to find out which force was stronger. And I started thinking about this. Well, what would happen if I took the battle of good and evil, somehow got a human alien detective involved in it, and I took the basic theology of what Armageddon was, and I gave him my own bizarre, demented Greg Ballan twist. And that began the journey. And when I sat down, started to do the outline, it just seemed perfect. And the more and more I went into it, the more and more ideas I had for it. And we had talked before about, architect or gardener outlining it. And I had a strict outline for the book. And after about 40 pages, it was gone. And the story was in there, and it had to come out. And I'd sit at the keyboard, and it was like watching a play. And I was just typing out what was happening before me. And I've always wanted to do that story because I wanted to take the biggest concept I could conceive of in theology. It's good and evil. If you are a Christian, that is the constant battle, the constant. There's always something dark looking to get you, and there's this force of light that's there to protect you. Well, what happens if this war is going on around us for real, and people are actually involved in it. And that was the backdrop for both of the books. Armageddon Sun kind of introduces and brings the characters into it through Erik's mentor, Martin Denton. His son gets murdered. He's at Vatican City as a cleric. And that murder investigation drags them into Vatican City, drags them into the theological piece of it. And through that investigation, things evolve, and they start realizing there's a lot more going on here than just a simple grisly murder. There's church politics. There's vampires. There's something in this for everybody. There's aliens. There's vampires. There's demons. There's corruptions. There's dirty politics. And there's actually kind of a love story in there. And then the relationship between a father and a son, how that works. And I took it all because, I said, if I'm going to end this character, I want to go out with a bang. And that was what these two books were.